An easy way to control people is to show them what isn't actually there.
Oh my God. What is that?
People across America are seeing bizarre phenomena that are naturally impossible.
Oh my God, that is strange.
Anomalies in Texas, clouds mentioned in the Book of Revelation, and strange events from around the world. Is someone trying to make people afraid, or are these signs for the end of days? Let's find out. Someone in Charleston, West Virginia, recorded a streak across the sky that they couldn't make sense of. A bright, fiery object came cutting through the atmosphere at speed, leaving a long orange and white trail behind it. That part alone could have been a meteor. But what got people talking was the shape at the front of it, which several witnesses described as looking like a figure with wings. The person who filmed it posted it asking if anyone else in the area saw it, and the responses came in fast. Nobody had a clean answer. Strange, streaking light. Two weeks ago, on a beach in Cape Town, South Africa, a crowd of people stood with their phones out staring at something cutting across the night sky above the ocean. A vivid purple light streaked diagonally downward at speed, leaving a clean, bright trail behind it as it went. The color alone made it stand out. Purple isn't a shade associated with any conventional aircraft or standard meteor burn. A faint rainbow-like arc appeared around it as well, which added another layer nobody had an easy answer for. City portals. The person who filmed this posted it with one question: what did I just film? And honestly, it was a fair one. Above a city skyline at night, two irregular, glowing structures appeared out of nowhere, outlined in a warm, amber light with dark centers that radiated outward like something was pushing through from the other side. The shapes held steady for several seconds, clearly defined against the black sky above the city lights below. No aircraft, no weather event, no laser show was confirmed in the area, and no explanation has ever been given. Strange light. In 2021, a man from Branson, Missouri spotted something totally unreal, a glowing orb in the middle of the sky. But he was wrong. It wasn't just an orb, because the commentators mentioned it looked more like the sky had ripped or been cut, revealing an intense orange glow from the other side. What do you think this was? An optical illusion due to the shape of the clouds blocking the sun? Or something else is at foot here? Comment below. Cloud serpent. In early February of this year, somewhere over Greenville, South Carolina, a man caught something moving through the gray clouds right outside his home. The cloud formation twisted and stretched into what looked unmistakably like a massive serpent coiling through the clouds. For anyone familiar with Revelation 12:9, the verse describes the great serpent being cast down to earth.
Holy smoking Toledos.
Strange orange glow. Chris Walpole uploaded this footage on Instagram that he captured in November while driving toward Elmira outside Eugene, Oregon. From the passenger seat, the camera pointed at a deep red and orange glow pulsing behind the clouds along the tree line, blinking in a slow, irregular pattern that didn't match any tower light or aircraft strobe. What made it harder to explain was that the same orange sky had been reported by other people in the area that same night, except in their sightings, the glow was steady with no flashing at all. Ring of fire.
What's up in the sky?
Whoa.
I don't see it.
Filmed between two buildings somewhere in Indonesia, this footage showed a perfect ring of fire burning in the sky above the rooftops. The circle was large, symmetrical, and glowing with deep orange and gold flames around its entire edge, while the center remained completely dark. It looked less like a cloud formation catching sunlight and more like something had punched a hole straight through the sky and set the edges alight.
Okay, look towards
Oh
us.
my God, that is strange.
Look.
The shape was far too clean and far too perfectly round to feel like a natural occurrence. People in the street below stood filming it, and nobody had an explanation then or afterward.
Well, I don't see
What the
it.
hell is it?
I'm in the middle of my...
Pyramid in the sky.
Holy
Wow, is there
Christ.
two?
What? There's this one there.
Footage from inside a car in Memphis, Tennessee on April 28, 2026, picked up something in the clouds. A perfectly shaped dark pyramid hung suspended in the gray sky, solid and defined against the surrounding clouds, with clean, angular edges that didn't shift or distort the way a cloud formation normally would. It wasn't rotating, wasn't moving, just sitting there above the tree line as traffic passed beneath it. Pyramid-shaped objects in the sky have been reported and filmed all over the world for years, but most of them don't look this clean or this deliberate.
See?
Rare phenomenon. This was filmed from a street corner in Los Angeles, California, and the person behind the camera said exactly what everyone watching was thinking. What was going on? A cluster of glowing orange lights lit up inside a cloud above a quiet residential neighborhood, pulsing and shifting in a pattern that didn't behave like lightning. There was no storm, no electrical activity reported in the area, and no official statement came out afterward. Some people landed on rare atmospheric phenomena. What do you think this was? Worldwide trumpets. People across the world are freaking out after similar but eerie trumpet sounds echoing through cities. It started in London at around 4 inches the morning when a massive trumpet-like blast shook empty streets and jolted residents out of their sleep. Shortly after, a worker near a shipping dock recorded something similar, deep, metallic, and seemingly descending straight down from the sky above him. Reports then started flooding in from Sweden, Michigan, and British Columbia in Canada, all describing the same type of sound. Dr. Glenn McPherson documented his own experience where the humming persisted inside his home even after he cut the power completely, which only made it worse.
Ultimately, I cut the power to the entire house, and the sound got louder.
People worldwide started calling them the trumpets of the apocalypse. What is your opinion on this?
Guys, what is going on?
Doomsday caught. On the 3rd of April, 2026, this phenomenon terrified everyone in Perth, Australia. The clouds began flashing red. At first, the intense light seemed to be coming from within the clouds, as if a really unusual thunderstorm was causing it. But after a few minutes, 3 red bands of light came down from the clouds. One of the bands began moving fast across the city. Look at this! The lightning was also too strange. As this kept happening for 2 hours, citizens thought it was a sign of the end of times. Unnatural cloud.
What is going on here?
Cumulonimbus clouds are already one of the more dramatic things the sky produces, stretching anywhere from 5,000 to 12,000 meters vertically and pulling together water droplets and ice crystals as they build. This particular one was filmed from ground level all the way up to where it disappeared into the upper atmosphere, a towering white column cutting straight through a clear blue sky. The science behind it was straightforward enough, but the middle section was what stopped people cold. Caught in the body of the cloud was what looked unmistakably like a human face, dark, defined, and staring outward from inside the formation like something was trapped in there.
Fucking spiritual.
Manipulating climate. On April 19th, 2026, the sky above Chongqing, China turned a deep, unsettling red and stayed that way for 15 minutes. Multiple intense beams of red light shot straight down from the clouds toward the city. Witnesses filmed it from rooftops and balconies across the city, and the footage spread fast. The original post tied it directly to Revelation 13, the verse about fire coming down from heaven in the sight of men. 15 minutes of red sky and descending beams over a major city is not something that happens every day. How does this make you feel? Let me know in the comments below.
What the hell is happening?
Laser strikes Turkey. On April 7th, 2026, a single green laser beam descended from the sky above Turkey and hit the ground below with enough intensity to cause the lights in the surrounding area to flicker and behave erratically. The beam was razor thin on the way down, but expanded into a wide, glowing green orb at the point where it met the clouds above. The electrical interference on the ground was what pushed this beyond just a strange light show. Something about that laser was interacting with the infrastructure directly underneath it. Austin anomaly. This happened late night in Austin, Texas, when the sky started doing something no one could explain. Strange lights flickered behind the clouds, too quick, too sharp to be lightning. They twisted and shifted like the air itself was tearing open, forming what looked like a glowing portal above the city. The longer it went on, the more unreal it felt, like the sky was alive and about to spill something out. For a few eerie minutes, it truly seemed like the world was standing on the edge of something extraordinary. Floating ring. In Melbourne, Australia, a couple out for a late-night walk spotted a glowing ring drifting high above the city. At first, they thought it was a drone, but it moved too smoothly, too quiet, too steady for that. The ring pulsed with shifting colors, almost breathing, before it faded into the clouds without a sound. Their stunned reaction says it all. Whatever that was, it didn't come from us.
What?
Biblically accurate angel. In the Italian countryside, 5 miles south of Sicily, a group of tourists captured something in the sky that left them frozen. What looked at first like a bright star turned out to be a massive, glowing wheel-shaped anomaly in the sky, which people instantly said looked like a biblically accurate angel, or somewhat resembled one. The light was so bright it could be seen for miles, and for several hours it stayed suspended in one place, turning like a machine. Then it dimmed and disappeared. In the Bible, they are called Ophanim, and can be found in Ezekiel 1 from 15 till 21, and also Ezekiel 10:12. Glitch in the sky.
Oh wow, that's a big one.
This was filmed in Portland, Oregon, and nobody there had answers for it. A bright, intense light just sat in the middle of a gray, overcast sky, completely still. Then it started splitting apart, breaking into smaller, glowing pieces that floated out around it. The whole thing looked less like a weather event and more like something that wasn't supposed to be seen. A lot of people in the comments called it a glitch in the simulation, and honestly, looking at the footage, it wasn't hard to see why.
Oh my god, that's a monster.
Crows going haywire. Thousands of crows descended on Sunnyvale, California, in what residents described as something straight out of a horror film. The sky turned dark with them, a dense rolling mass of birds moving together like a single organism. That alone was unsettling enough, but then they shifted direction and moved toward a nearby Walmart, covering the parking lot, the roof, and every surface in sight. 2 completely separate locations, same overwhelming swarm. Animals behaving this way has historically been linked to warnings of natural disasters or seismic activity. Project or miracle? An Instagram user by the name Antonia Leo was in Houston, Texas on April 28, 2026, when he captured something unbelievable. The clouds had formed what looked like a massive robed figure staring straight down, arms at its sides, the outline clear enough that people in the comments immediately started calling it Jesus. Some viewers went straight to Project Bluebeam being used to trick people, but the figure was detailed enough that even the skeptics had a hard time just calling it nothing. Clouds appearing strange. This broke as local news in Nashville, Tennessee, and people were pulling over on the side of the road to film it. A cloud formation had taken the shape of a robed figure, with both arms stretched wide open. The silhouette so clean and defined, it barely even looked like a cloud. Multiple people in the area captured it from different angles, and the shape held for several minutes before slowly dispersing. Whether it was a divine message or just a remarkable coincidence, the clip is really shocking. Angel over Uzbekistan. During a storm over Tashkent, Uzbekistan, someone filmed the sky from their window and caught something that spread across the internet within hours. Lightning was cutting through the clouds when it revealed what looked like a giant winged figure just above the city. Wings fully spread, a distinct human form visible in the center. The buildings below gave it scale, and that's what made it so striking. The figure appeared absolutely massive. Peculiar shape. In America, unusual things have been showing up in the sky for several days in a row, and this one just added to the mystery. A glowing white object hung completely still in a pitch-black sky, and the shape was what made it so hard to categorize. It had a defined structure, almost diamond-like, with intense light at the top and what looked like layered sections running through the middle. The comments were full of people calling it an angel, or a divine figure caught mid-form, but I am not sure it looks different than an angel. Drop what you think in the comments. Mysterious sighting. The shape wasn't immediately obvious in this one, but once you saw it, it was hard to unsee. Filmed against a gray, overcast sky, a large winged figure moved slowly behind the cloud cover before disappearing completely into it. The humanoid form was faint, but the wings were the clearest part of the whole thing. It didn't move like a bird, and the scale of it relative to the clouds ruled that out pretty quickly anyway. It was there for a few seconds, and then it was just gone. Bloating cars. Imagine spending thousands of dollars on your luxury car only to find it suddenly swollen and bloated. People are saying due to the unnatural changes in climate and weather, things that we own are paying the price. Look at these videos where people were left stunned after seeing their cars melting. The paint had formed blobs over the vehicles. The strangest part was that this didn't happen to just one car. It affected hundreds of vehicles parked under the sun. But the temperatures are reaching numbers never reached before. I mean, spring looked more like winter, and now all of a sudden, it started to get hotter by the day. Something to think about. Mysterious incident. This one was filmed in broad daylight, which made it harder to dismiss than most. Behind a break in the clouds, an intense beam of light pushed upward in a way that didn't match the sun's position or angle at all. People on the ground weren't just seeing it either. They were hearing something coming from the same direction, a faint but distinct sound that nobody could identify.
I hope it's getting on the camera. I can't even see the screen. Oh, shit!
The glow shifted slowly behind the cloud cover like it was moving with intention, then dimmed completely without warning. Sky splits open.
Everyone is looking up, wondering why the sky is split.
Nobody at this location could agree on what they were looking at, but everyone had their phones out. At sunset, the clouds or sky split in half as everyone was dumbfounded by this weird sight. There was a swirling vortex of white clouds forming directly beneath it. The contrast between the dark shape above and the golden sunset clouds below made the whole thing look like the sky had physically torn open at that point. People watching from the ground kept filming as it held its shape.
Sky is broken. And everybody knows something's fishy.
Talking orb?
Can you talk to me? Can you hear me? Jesus loves me.
In New Jersey, on December 16th, 2025, a TikTok video captured a glowing orb in the night sky that had an unusual shape to it, rounded at the front with what looked like wings or fins extending from the sides, almost angelic in form. The woman filming it started talking to it directly, asking it to respond, and according to her, it did.
God is good.
The exchange she captured was strange enough that people were replaying it over and over, trying to figure out what they were hearing.
You know Jesus. Jesus is awesome, isn't he?
Portal opens.
Holy shit, what is it, yo?
On January 8th, 2026, residents of Vancouver, Canada, looked up to find something glowing between the gray storm clouds that had no business being there. A large, oval-shaped object burned with deep gold and orange light, ringed by a vivid purple haze that radiated outward into the surrounding clouds. It sat completely still, perfectly formed, and unlike any atmospheric optical effect on record. The purple ring alone set it apart from anything that could be explained away as sun refraction or lens flare. People on the ground were calling it a portal to another dimension, and looking at the footage, it was genuinely hard to argue with that description. Mysterious green orb. At 6:15 in the evening on 15th May, 2025, someone in Perth, Australia caught a green orb moving across the sky. The object left a faint gray trail behind it as it moved, and the motion was what really set it apart. It skipped across the sky the same way a flat stone skips across water, bouncing in an arc rather than traveling in a straight line. The person filming confirmed they lived nowhere near an airport or any flight path. No conventional aircraft pulls off that kind of movement, and nothing natural glows that shade of green. Shape-shifting light.
It's a UFO.
Over North America, someone filmed a glowing pink and red light trail in the sky that couldn't seem to settle on a single form. It started as a loose, curved shape, almost like a hook or a letter, then slowly shifted and closed itself into a perfect oval ring, glowing against the darkening clouds. The light was consistent and bright the whole time, not flickering or fading as it morphed from one shape to the other. The fact that it kept changing was what pushed this well past anything with a straightforward explanation. Sky portal.
The sky is absolutely, it's like a sign of God.
In Costa Rica, a crowd of people stopped and pointed their cameras at something opening up in the clouds above them that was genuinely hard to look away from.
I have never seen anything like this. This is the sky here.
A massive circular gap formed in the cloud cover, ringed with vivid iridescent color. Full spectrum rainbow hues running along the entire curved edge where the clouds parted. What they were likely looking at was a phenomenon called a fall streak hole, or hole punch cloud, caused when ice crystals in a thin cloud layer rapidly evaporate in a circular pattern. The science explains the mechanics, but does very little to make it look any less like a portal tearing itself open above your head.
Wow.
Two suns. On October 11th, in New York City, residents captured two equally bright suns hung side by side in the orange sky above the city skyline, both perfectly round and glowing at the same intensity. Meteorologists would point to a sundog. an atmospheric optical illusion caused by ice crystals refracting sunlight as the likely explanation. But sundogs typically appear to the side of the sun and are less defined than what this footage showed. Burning descent. In Campinas, Brazil, a man filming from his rooftop caught something fiery plummeting from the sky. The object crashed into a nearby field, sending up smoke, and then, according to him, something impossible happened. A glowing figure stepped out from the haze, stood for a moment, and then shot straight back into the sky. The clip went viral fast before anyone could delete it. Some say it's edited, others swear it's real. But whatever fell that night, it wasn't just space debris. Ocean light mystery. Off the coast of Florida, a man standing on a dock captured something he couldn't explain. A bright blue light cutting across the night sky before diving straight into the Pacific Ocean. The glow lit up the water for several seconds, turning the dark waves almost white. Then, just as suddenly, it was gone. No splash, no smoke, no trace. Some say it was a meteor, others think it was something far more controlled, like it was entering the ocean on purpose. To this day, no one knows what that glowing object really was. California encounter. Back in 2009, a group of tourists visiting the Southern California desert witnessed something unforgettable. Strange lights appeared far off in the distance, followed by a massive craft hovering silently at the center. Two smaller ones glided beside it, moving in perfect sync, before merging into the larger craft in a sudden flash of light. The entire formation vanished in seconds, leaving behind one shaky video and a mystery that still has people talking. MLB interrupted. During a late-night baseball match in USA, players stopped mid-game as a huge, dark shape floated above them. The object was almost invisible at first, blending with the night sky until it began to glow faintly, revealing a massive triangular form. Spectators filmed in shock as it hovered without sound, casting a quiet, unnerving presence over the field. Then, in a blink, it was gone. The footage has been debated ever since, with many calling it one of the most convincing UFO sightings ever caught during a live event. Sky flash. Late one night, a burst of blinding light cut straight through the clouds, fast, silent, and way too perfect to be a meteor or jet. Witnesses said it moved like it had purpose, slicing through the sky before vanishing without a sound. All that was left was a faint, glowing trail that lingered for a moment, then faded away. Whatever it was, it didn't move like anything we've built, and it definitely wasn't meant for us to see. Invasion in Colorado? In Boulder, Colorado, witnesses caught something unbelievable hovering above the mountains. A mysterious craft shining with a strange blue glow. Multiple people filmed it, and the footage quickly spread online, with experts calling it one of the clearest UAP recordings ever made. Some say it was a top-secret drone, others think it was a hologram, but the way it moved made people question if this was something far beyond human design. Secret sky test.
On the left there's something.
It's going down.
Near Area 51 in Nevada, a group of explorers filming for a project called Fear captured something shocking. Their cameras caught a sudden explosion lighting up the desert sky.
Oh! I got it!
I got it too! You guys.
That's an explosion.
Followed by a dark, silent object hovering over the blast zone. The clip spread fast online, with people calling it proof of secret alien tests. The way the sky lit up like daylight was too bright, too precise, made it hard to believe it was anything normal.
Oh, another one.
Oh, I see it. Oh, get it going. It's doing it again.
Lunar base real? A video that surfaced online has people questioning everything we think we know about the moon. The footage shows a sleek, disc-shaped craft gliding toward the surface. Then, out of nowhere, a faint circular opening appears. The object slips inside effortlessly, like it's entering a doorway. The portal then seals itself, leaving the lunar surface looking untouched. The clip spread fast across social media, with users claiming it proves there are secret bases hidden beneath the moon's surface. NASA hasn't commented, but experts admit the movement looks far too smooth to be a visual glitch. If real, it could mean advanced activity has been happening much closer to us than anyone's willing to say. Flaring sky. This bizarre phenomenon occurred in China on the 16th of February, 2025. Everything seemed normal until strange glowing objects suddenly lit up the sky, appearing like flares of light moving toward the Earth. Some spectators panicked and began to run, while some managed to film the moment. Otherwise, no one would have believed that something like this had happened. Later, experts claimed on the news that these objects were meteorites falling from the sky. Triple suns. One afternoon in Ginkgo Village, South Korea, a farmer was working in his field when he looked up and froze. There were 3 bright suns shining in the sky. He rubbed his eyes, thinking he was tired or dreaming, but the strange sight did not fade. The suns glowed in a triangular position, lighting up the village in a strange way. As he filmed, he noticed that some other villagers were also pointing at the sky, but none of them understood what was happening there. Luminescent sky.
What? Holy shit. What?
One early morning in Colombia, a man witnessed a strange phenomenon in the sky. He was filming the mountain view at dawn when, suddenly, a bright light appeared behind a mountain and began drifting across the sky like a jellyfish. It glowed in blue, green, pink, and orange, forming wheel-like and spiral patterns. Although he was a professional photographer, he had never seen anything like it in his life. Later, he shared the video on Instagram to let the viewers guess, but they were also left baffled.
Holy no, it's behind the other mountain. I mean, there's nothing there.
Jesus in cloud.
Oh, blessed Jesus, look at that.
On August 22nd, last year, the sunset over the California mountains produced a cloud formation that spread across religious and paranormal communities online within hours. The clouds had built into the distinct silhouette of a kneeling or bowing figure.
Oh, I've never seen nothing like it in my life. Praise God.
Head clearly defined and bowed forward, the body shaped in a way that left very little room for alternative interpretation. What made it even more striking was the thin circular halo of cloud that formed naturally above the figure's head, perfectly positioned like something out of a Renaissance painting.
You can see him, can't you?
Look at that.
Yeah.
Humanoid floats by.
See it? What the hell's wrong with it? No, it's straight up and down.
This clip made the rounds fast because of how defined the shape was against a clear blue sky. A glowing white humanoid figure floated at altitude, arms and legs visible, the proportions unmistakably person-like. It wasn't falling and it wasn't attached to anything. It moved slowly across the frame with a faint light emanating from its center, bright enough to suggest it was generating its own glow rather than just reflecting sunlight. No balloon, no drone, and no parachute accounts for that specific shape moving that way in a completely clear sky. People who wrote it off as a Mylar balloon struggled to explain the limbs.
Iron Man, sorry.
Open discussion of the day.
Oh, blessed Jesus, look at that.
Just a couple of days ago in Alabama, an atmospheric event produced something that left the people who witnessed it completely speechless. The light that formed in the sky took on the shape of a standing human figure, robed, with a clearly defined head, shoulders, and body, radiating an intense white and golden glow outward in every direction. The silhouette was detailed enough that the outline of the arms and the drape of what looked like clothing were both visible. Whether this was a rare optical phenomenon caused by ice crystals and light refraction, or something else entirely, the shape it chose to take was not lost on anyone who saw it. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel.
They're deeper.